Look at this city. Clean streets, a growing skyline, one of the lowest corruption rates on the continent, a parliament where more than 60% of the seats are held by women, the highest percentage of any country on earth. By almost every measurable standard, Rwanda is one of Africa's greatest development stories. GDP per capita has grown more than tenfold since the mid-1990s. Life expectancy has nearly doubled. Foreign investment is rising. The country hosts international summits, attracts global health funding, and runs one of the most efficient governments in the developing world. But here is what you need to hold in your mind as you watch this video. 32 years ago, this city was a graveyard. In the spring of 1994, Rwanda descended into one of the fastest and most concentrated episodes of mass killing in recorded human history. In 100 days, between April and July, an estimated 1 million people were killed, primarily ethnic Tutsi, killed by their neighbors, in some cases by people they had known their entire lives. The killing was organized, systematic, and fast. Faster, in fact, than the Holocaust in terms of daily death rate. The world watched, and then the world looked away. The United Nations had peacekeepers on the ground. They were ordered not to intervene. The United States, still haunted by Somalia, refused to use the word genocide for weeks because using that word would have required a legal obligation to act.
Sir, it's true that you have specific guidance not to use the word genocide in isolation, but always to preface it with this word axel.
I have guidance which I try to use as best as I can. I'm not. I
have come today to pay the respects of my nation to all who suffered and all who perished in the Rwandan genocide. We did not act quickly enough after the killing began.
When it was finally over, Rwanda was a country in name only. Infrastructure destroyed, institutions gone, 1 million people dead or fled, and an entire generation left to ask a question with no clean answer. How do you live next to the person who killed your family? Most countries that experience genocide do not recover. They fracture, they cycle, they become permanent humanitarian emergencies. Rwanda was supposed to be no different. It was different. The question that matters is not that Rwanda recovered, it is how. Because the mechanisms Rwanda used were unlike anything tried before, and some of them were deeply uncomfortable. Rwanda faced an impossible judicial problem. There were an estimated 120,000 people in prison accused of participating in the genocide. The formal court system had essentially collapsed. At the rate traditional courts were processing cases, it would have taken over a century to deliver justice. So Rwanda invented something else. Gacaca were community-based courts rooted in a traditional Rwandan conflict resolution practice. Ordinary citizens, elected by their communities, presided over hearings held outdoors in the villages where the crimes had occurred. Perpetrators could confess, ask for forgiveness, and receive reduced sentences. Survivors could speak, communities could witness. Over the following decade, nearly 2 million cases were processed. It was imperfect. Some perpetrators lied, some innocent people were accused, some survivors felt justice was incomplete, but it cleared a backlog that would have paralyzed the country for generations, and it gave communities a mechanism to begin, not finish, but begin, the work of living together again. Perhaps the most radical decision Rwanda made was this. It abolished ethnicity as an official category. There are no Hutu, no Tutsi, no Twa, not on government documents, not in schools, not in public discourse. There is only Rwandan. You can debate whether erasing a category erases the underlying tension. Many do. But as a nation-building instrument, it was decisive. The government replaced the question of who you were with the question of what you would build, and it directed an entire generation's identity toward that project. Paul Kagame, who has led Rwanda since the end of the genocide, made no secret of his ambition. He wanted Rwanda to become the Singapore of Africa, a small, landlocked, resource-poor country that competed on governance, efficiency, and human capital rather than commodities. The results are measurable. Rwanda consistently ranks among the least corrupt countries in Africa on Transparency International's index. It has become a hub for health innovation, home to partnerships with global institutions that have made it a model for vaccine distribution and health system design. Kigali International Airport is one of the continent's most modern. The country attracts more tourists per capita than almost any other African nation. One detail about Rwanda's recovery is rarely discussed in economic analyses but is perhaps the most important. The genocide killed a disproportionate number of men. Women were left to do the rebuilding. Literally. They cleared rubble, replanted fields, ran businesses, raised children who were not their own. And when Rwanda began building new institutions, women were already there, leading. The 64% female parliament did not happen by accident or by pure idealism. It happened because the demographic reality of post-genocide Rwanda made female leadership not just possible, but necessary. Rwanda codified it in its constitution, and the results have shaped everything from land rights to healthcare access to educational outcomes. But here is where we have to be honest. Rwanda's success story has a shadow, and any serious analysis of this country has to look at it directly. Paul Kagame has won every election he has contested, with more than 93% of the vote. The constitution was changed to allow him to remain in power until 2034. Kagame's defenders, and there are many serious people among them, argue that Rwanda's stability required a strong hand, that development in a post-genocide state cannot wait for the full architecture of liberal democracy, that results matter. His critics argue that you cannot build a free society on the suppression of freedom, and that Rwanda's miracle is, at least in part, a managed image. Both arguments contain truth, and Rwanda's future may depend on which one it allows to win. For many genocide survivors, the language of national reconciliation feels premature. The wounds are not symbolic, they are physical and daily. Some survivors live next to people they know participated in the killing of their families, people who served reduced sentences and returned to the same villages. The Gacaca process offered something, but for many it did not offer enough. Rwanda does not encourage extended public processing of this grief. The memorial season, the 100 days between April and July, is observed. But the rest of the year, the national project moves forward and survivors are expected to move with it. Whether that is resilience or suppression depends on who you ask. So what does Rwanda prove? It proves that recovery from the unimaginable is possible. Not easy, not clean, not without cost, but possible. It proves that identity can be redesigned, that a nation can consciously choose what story it tells about itself and then build institutions around that story. It proves that women, given structural access to power, do not merely participate in rebuilding, they lead it. And it raises a question for the rest of Africa, and honestly, for the rest of the world. Rwanda was abandoned in 1994. The international community failed it completely at the moment it needed help most, and Rwanda rebuilt itself anyway. Without the oil wealth of Nigeria, without the strategic geography of Kenya, without the population scale of Ethiopia or Egypt, it rebuilt on governance, on a decision, on a deliberate, painful, imperfect choice to become something different from what the worst of its history suggested it would be. The lesson of Rwanda is not that tragedy is inevitable. It is that what comes after tragedy is a choice. 32 years later, Rwanda is still making that choice. Every day, in every institution it builds, every girl it sends to school, every seat in parliament it fills. The question is not whether Rwanda's story is perfect, it is not. The question is whether the rest of us are paying close enough attention to learn from it. If this story made you think differently about what Africa is capable of, hit subscribe, because this continent is full of stories the world isn't telling, and we are not done unpacking them.